If you are a junk removal business owner and you're struggling to get leads, here are the top 15 methods that I have personally used in order to get leads in junk removal in 2026. The thing is, though, I only used one of these when I was scaling up to 20K per month, and we only recommend one of these to our clients, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But if you would like free training on how to implement that method that I was just talking about into your junk removal business, there's a link down below. Click on it, you get free training. It's completely free. Anyways, let's get into the video. So, load up. Load up. That's going in the D tier. Pros of load up. Free leads, basically. So how load up works is they get the lead and then they price the job. The person pays load up and then they say, hey, do you want to go do this job for 50 bucks, right? Load up got 100. You go do the job for 50 bucks. The thing is, here's the con. Usually, if you go do a job for load up, the price that they ask for first is typically going to be less than the dump fees that you have to pay in order to actually fulfill the job. The only jobs that are really valuable are the ones where nobody has accepted them and they call you and then you negotiate a higher price. That's how you are profitable with load up. Okay, every door direct mail. I've tried this one time and it didn't work for me. I'm going to say also D tier. Think about when you get something in the mail like this, an advertisement. Generally, you're going to throw it away. That's what pretty much everyone does. You have to send out a very, very high volume of these to the right postal codes in order to actually experience results, which can be pretty expensive. But the pro is if you can make a very good EDDM card and then broadcast that out to everyone, then you can actually get jobs. But okay, property management associations, S tier for the long run, okay? So pros with this is you can actually get in with property managers. If you go to these property manager association events and start speaking with them, you can establish rapport face-to-face and you can become one of their vendors. And they need repeat work often. And they're willing to pay more because they actually have more money. The cons with this though, is when you go to these events, you can't just pitch them straight up. Usually it takes 3 organic interactions to establish a relationship with someone, and then they ask you, hey, would you like to do business with me, basically. So you can't really ask them. They kind of have the authority. You want something from them, and you have to make them like you. Thumbtack, I'm going to go B tier. If you don't know how to run paid ads, you kind of have to use Thumbtack. You kind of have to. The pro with Thumbtack is it's very easy to set up. The con is they send your lead to 3 different people, and generally the people on Thumbtack are going to be price shopping. That's why they're on Thumbtack, because they know they're contacting 3 different companies at the same time, and they just want to get a price from them. So generally speaking, if you answer first and you schedule them in first and your processes are good and you're good on the phone, you can get them to buy. But a lot of the times they're just price shopping, so the leads aren't as good. Google local service ads. Me personally, I dislike Google local service ads because I use them and they actually spent more money than they made for me. The second reason is because you don't have a whole lot of control over who your ad is shown to, and that just means that you can't really target specific people that are going to pay you a lot of money. The pros with it, though, are, first of all, it's easy to set up. You literally, if you have a Google business profile, you can just turn it on and then it advertises your Google business profile. But honestly, you don't get as good of leads and they're not as committed because they don't go to a landing page where you have all your social proof displayed and your offer displayed. So actually, we'll do C tier. Meta ads, S tier for sure. Like if you don't have a whole lot of money and you want to run ads, then meta ads, that's going to be the strategy that I suggest you use in terms of paid ads. So the pros with it, it's not very expensive. You can test creative pretty rapidly. And also, because you can test creative pretty rapidly, you can test offers pretty rapidly too. So the cons with it, though, is it takes skill. You have to develop technical skill, and generally, you have to pay someone to teach you how to do that. But once you do that, you're golden. Or you pay someone to run these meta ads for you. I don't really recommend that, though. Yard signs. It's either B or C. I'm just going to say C. I actually use these. I got like I think it was a cease and desist letter from the city. It was like, hey, stop putting these out. So I don't really like them. Pros with them, you can put them up pretty quickly. They're not too expensive. They're like $2.99 per yard sign. The cons with them though, you put them out and you might get a letter from the police saying, hey, don't do that. And in that case, you've just wasted like $300 or $600, which I did because I bought like $300 worth of them. And I was putting out like 10 per day. So in my opinion, because there's better methods out there and because it takes so much active effort, it's a C tier. Now, door hangers, I'm going to go B tier. It's similar to door, and you can actually combine this outreach technique with door, but it takes a lot of active effort, and it's also kind of expensive. Like you have to order these, you have to design them correctly, and if you ever change your number, like on the door hanger, then the door hangers will essentially be useless. Anyone who has them will not call you. People also are really annoyed if you walk up to their door and leave stuff at their door, especially if it's advertising. So, all right, now social media. Okay, so for a local service-based business, in terms of getting leads, this is D tier. But especially in terms of posting organically to Facebook, it is S tier when you are thinking about building rapport with the customer. So in terms of getting leads, social media, I would say, is like D tier. But in terms of building rapport with the customer, when they're checking out your other ads and considering if they would like to buy from you, it's S tier. I know like Sonoma Strong has gotten a lot of business from social media, but the thing is they put in 5 years of hard work on social media to get to the point where they're at today. Whereas if you just run paid ads correctly, then you can make a lot of money up front, even though it does take money to make money. Anyways, posting to Facebook groups, I'm going to go ahead and say C tier. The reason being is because most people don't implement it properly. Generally speaking, they post a commoditized offer, and they post AI slop, and they post to the wrong groups. Like I see people in junk removal business owner groups where there's a large collection of junk removal business owners, and they're posting their advertisements to those groups in hopes of getting business from people. Like, first of all, this is like a nationwide group, and it's composed of junk removal business owners. So their avatar isn't there, and they're a local service-based business. They can't go serve Kentucky or wherever. So they're just wasting their time posting a bad ad in the wrong place. So that's why it's C tier. Might even be D tier, honestly. Door to door, I'll say, depending on your sales skills, C tier, honestly, because no one wants you at their door, you know? So the pros with this is it's cheap in terms of money. You don't have to spend money to do this really. Maybe you need some materials or some startup costs when you're knocking door to door. If you have like advertising materials that you give out when you're there, but it's also a good way to build actual rapport with someone. If you're speaking with them face to face, similar to this YouTube video, then you have established some amount of rapport with these people. The cons: nobody wants you showing up their house. Everyone hates solicitors. A solicitor, like people show up to my apartment complex and they're like knock on the door. I want them to go away instantly. I want them to go away. It's an unskippable ad in real life. Angie's List, D tier, instantly D tier. I've only heard bad things about Angie's List. I honestly have never tried it, but it's a similar concept to Thumbtack, except for I think they sell it to more people, so there's worse leads on Angie's List. I'm not even going to talk more about that. Facebook DM. Facebook DM, I'll say D tier. Like DMing random homeowners on Facebook, you don't even know if they're in the, if they want a junk removal service. You have no idea. Most of the time, you are just going to be ignored. But the pros with this is you can send them out really rapidly. And especially if you're reaching out to real estate agents, which they get reached out to all the time, maybe you'll land some, but probably not. If you want to actually establish relationships with property managers and real estate agents, you have to meet up with them face to face, and you have to establish rapport with them, and you have to meet them probably 3 times before they ask you, hey, do you want business? Do you want to work with us? Do you want us to give you our money? SEO, I'm going to go A tier. The reason I'm not doing S tier is because SEO takes a long time, and you have to have like a 100-page website if you want to be really effective with it. You don't necessarily have to, but it does take a long time to actually activate, and you have to have skill in terms of building websites and copywriting, or you have to pay someone else to do it for you. So, but the pros with this is if you know how to do it, it doesn't cost money. It just costs active effort and time. But time you can't get back. It's a finite resource. And there's ways you can help yourself do this with AI, but ultimately copywriting is best when it's done by an experienced human. And then the last method we have is Google Ads. In my opinion, this is going to be S tier. Like if I were running a junk removal business still, I would literally just do Google Ads, and I would do face-to-face with property managers and real estate agents. That's what I would do in terms of an advertising method, because Google Ads, that's more so for like the homeowners, and that's like the short-term strategy to get you up to 20K, to get you started, to get you able to afford insurance so that you can work with property managers eventually. And then this is the long game, where eventually you'll have all these established relationships and you'll have repeat business. So Google Ads, the pros with Google Ads is everyone who is looking for a service on Google, they're hot leads. They're crazy hot leads. It's like the top 3% of the funnel who are looking for a solution today, right now. They're ready to buy, their credit cards in their hand, and they actually see your website. If your website's set up correctly, it's very persuasive to them, because other junk removal business owners' websites aren't set up very well. So if they see your website, most likely they're going to opt in somehow. I mean, at least like 30% of them. If you have like a 5% click-through rate, or 5% of the people who see your ad click your ad, that's pretty good. And then if 50% of those opt in, that's pretty good as well. The cons with Google Ads, though, is it is more expensive than Meta ads. I would recommend that you have a budget of like $2,000, $2,400. But the thing is, when you're first starting, you can actually get thousands of dollars in free ad credits if you just know how to take advantage of that. So these are the top 15 lead getting strategies in junk removal that I personally tried, except for Angie's List. I've never tried that. And I really recommend doing these top 3. If anything, just focus everything on these top 3, and you will certainly be successful if you can pull this off. If you do this correctly, you will win. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that video. By the way, the one method that I used to scale myself up to 20K per month was Google Ads. The reason why I chose that method was because I knew it had the hottest leads on there, and I knew that I could learn a little bit about it and then actually be able to implement a Google Ads campaign as well as a landing page successfully and make money. I believe it's the fastest path to money in junk removal if you have a little social proof. And that's why we recommend this method to our clients as well. So hopefully you liked that video. Hopefully it was helpful to you. Hopefully you have an idea now of how to get leads, or at least where to explore in terms of how to get leads. And I'll see you guys in the next one.